Hey guys, it's Chelsea back with Quilted and Curious for a long overdue video here. Now, we are going to go over how to chain piece your fussy cutting. So what you need are all the supplies that I have here. We're going to need the chalk marker. Obviously, whatever we're fussy cutting, we're going to need the acrylic and the paper pieces. I really like this tool that helps to um, kind of crease your fabric, and that's going to be really helpful kind of as we go here. So the first thing is I am going to use these diamond pieces. That's a set of 5 to make your star. So what I want to show you is how to connect from kind of asymmetrical shapes from one to the other. This isn't going to be one fussy cut where everything looks the exact same. This is going to be a continuation of the chain. So I really like these because they are different. It's not going to be a perfect circle. Not all of your pieces are going to look the same. I will say that this first piece, the most important part, is going to be making sure that one of your two sides, it does not have a chain piece on it at all. So you can see here that the side that I just cut there is going to be where my chain goes. And then this side right here is going to be where my star ends at. That'll make more sense kind of as we go here. But so I cut my first piece. Obviously, you're going to do that just as you would anything else, and then you're going to baste it. So we have our first piece. Now, this is where it really gets into explaining how to do this. So you're going to take your acrylic template and you're going to line it up beside your basted piece, and it's going to overlap where your fabric is going to have that kind of extra 3/8 of an inch. So you want to make sure that that overlaps. That way, whenever you cut your piece, you're not cutting to the edge of your piece, you're cutting to where that fold is going to be for your 3/8 of an inch. If that makes sense. So, finding these pieces it can be tricky, and it can be a little bit of a struggle here, because what you need is, you're going to want to find where the chain connects on that side, but there can't be any other chains going through the same side. And then in the other aspect is you're going to want to look on the opposite side as well and make sure that it's something that's doable. You're going to want to stick to maybe one if you're really feeling adventurous, maybe 2 chain pieces. I've done before where I broke it up like right in the middle of the heart, and that looks really cute too. But what you don't want is, just to have a bunch of chain pieces going through it, or to have where it's like almost parallel to the chain piece, because then it's going to be really difficult to find the next part of your star. So I'm just looking around, and sometimes this does take a little bit of time to find kind of that perfect piece that goes through. So you can see here that my chain piece is going to connect right where I colored with the chalk marker. And then on the right side, you can see that it's just going to have one chain link that goes through to the next part of the star. So now all you have to do is just cut this next piece out. So I do one piece at a time. So it makes a little bit more time consuming, because you're cutting, you're basting, you're finding a piece, you're cutting, you're basting, you're finding a piece. But that just ensures that all of your pieces are going to connect, and it's going to look nice in the end. So what we're going to do here is, instead of just using my acrylic template to line up my paper piece kind of right in the middle, we're going to use the piece beside it. So in this instance, it's my piece number one, and that's going to be what I use to gauge where I need to put my next paper piece, because sometimes it's not perfect, and you're going to see that I am far from perfect whenever it comes to these. So it's not going to always be an exactly 3/8 of an inch on each side. So you can see here where the chain links need to line up, and now I'm trying to figure out how I can get those chain links to look decent, but still be able to get a little bit of fabric on all of the different sides of my paper piece, because we need at least enough that we can, fold over and get a nice secure um, stitch around it. So this is where I use the pointed um, piece to kind of crease my fabric, and I do it on the side of the fabric the um, that the design's on. So then that way you know exactly where you need to place your piece whenever you flip it over. So you'll see here it has a nice crease whenever you crease, that's all you need to do to kind of be able to show exactly where you need to lay this paper piece. You can kind of feel it, you can see it, and it also kind of holds the piece there because your fabric's already starting to bend a little bit. So, and it'll make it really easy to be able to fold these pieces up over to baste your piece. So now we have number two done, and at this point, it's going to be the same between pieces 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you've mastered it just after watching once, then the rest of the video may not be for you. But if you need to see it a few more times, then we can definitely work through all of these. So, and I do apologize, this video is long overdue. I've been meaning to put it out here for a little while. I couldn't find my other one where I did a chain piece for my hide and seek project. So, I've just kind of remade it here, and we're making this just for this video purposes. So there you go. We have piece number one, piece number two. Pretty good connection between the two of them. Once you look at this from far away, you won't even be able to tell that it's not absolutely perfect. Um, so now we're gonna go for pieces 2 to piece 3. So the same thing. You're going to take your paper piece that is already basted, and you're gonna put it under the 3/8 of an inch. That way it lines up perfectly with where the next paper piece will go. And you're going to use the chalk marker to mark that location. And make sure whenever you do that, mark the whole area, not just right beside where the line is, but make sure you're marking the whole way to the edge like I do. And the reasoning for that is it helps to show you which angle the chain is going, because if you have like a really awkward kind of um, bend, it just doesn't look natural. So that just helps to kind of know where your what direction your chain is going in here. And then I like to take my piece and put it up to it here and make sure that it's going to line up perfectly. So so this first side that we're going to be cutting here is going to be the side that will connect to the next piece. So you can see again it has one chain link that goes through it. The heart is not going through that area, so we won't have to worry about it. And then we have here where it's going to connect to our piece number 2. So here we go. We will cut this one out and get it basted. And the same method for this one. We'll put the paper piece on the, I guess, wrong side at this point. And we'll line up the two of these here to make sure that the piece sits in the proper position. So it usually takes me a minute to do this part and make sure everything's aligned kind of the best way that it can, because it also gives you a different visualization than what you saw through the acrylic. So you can just make sure that it lines up nicely there. So here we are. There is our third piece. It sits really nicely. I will say that at this point, I decided to number the back of them because I got tired of mixing them up and not being able to figure out which piece belongs where. And I mark on the point that comes together. That way I know which side's kind of up and which side's down. So moving on to our fourth piece, this one's going to be the same. And then the fifth one will be a little bit different just because, we're connecting both sides, but not considerably different because we did not put a chain link through on piece number one. So it won't be really any change there. So we're going to mark this one and work on finding another piece that it'll connect with here. I do like to try to find ones that have the heart within them. So, usually you'll see where I kind of skip over a few different areas that are just chain and move to ones that do have the heart in there because I just like how that looks, especially for a smaller kind of design like this. So here is our next location here, and you'll see where once again it's just going to be one chain that's going through on the future side of our project here. And I have done two in the past. And you can see that in previous projects where I have done where you kind of need to line it up in two different locations. And it is possible. There's going to be some that are not and that you're going to have to recut. And there's always the chance of that, or that you'll have to use the exact kind of repeat of where you pulled it from, because that spot will always work. But it is kind of fun to try to find two different pieces of chain that properly go through and link the onto your next piece. But I'm not that adventurous here today. So we are linking these two up. And I've just found that this is the easiest way. I've tried doing this a few different ways before, and this seems to be the way that I'm not ever having to baste and then go back and pull up my glue and move it just an inch or a centimeter, millimeter, and then rebasting over and over and over again. Whenever I put the paper piece on the correct side of the fabric here and um, make those lines into it, it just really seems to um, be kind of foolproof. So then you know exactly what you're going to get because you can see it right there in front of you. You don't need a light box or anything. You just have your papers. So I'm going to base this one, and then we will work on the last piece here and walking through how to do that one. I know a few of you have been waiting on this video, and I hope that it explains it better than I know I've done quick run throughs on Instagram where I haven't actually kind of voiced over on it, and it was just me quickly working. But hopefully this is a little more helpful than those ones were. But if not, let me know. Let me know what I need to do differently to make it a bit easier for you here to understand or to figure out what I'm trying to say. And we will try to work on it. So here is our last piece. So you can see, we made it. So then it's not going to be any different than the other ones. We only have one side that needs to have the chain link there. If we would have had the chain going through the opposite side, it would be a lot harder to find a perfect piece with a chain going through each side. So um, this is really no different. We're just going to find another piece that links to piece four, and then baste it, and this will be done. It's as simple as that. Honestly, this is a really easy skill, but it looks so neat whenever you do it. And it really they're unique, which is nice. Everyone is going to be completely unique and original there. So we're going to work through this one. We'll get it basted and show you the final product here. But in the meantime, please like this video and make sure you're subscribed so then you can see when I post in the future, and leave a comment. Let me know, are there any other like EPP skills that you need me to walk through, or things that you've seen on my Instagram that you wish wouldn't be, sped up to 5 times what it actually is. And just let me know. Let me know if there's anything else that I can be doing a video on, and I will try to get it out to you as soon as possible and explain what I do. And I will say that, you know, this is how I do things. It may not be the correct way, and it's probably not the correct way. It may not be how you learned in the past or how you have taught other people, but give it a try. See if it helps you, see if it's a good option for you. Everybody is a little bit different, and maybe this makes no sense to you, and you like the way that you do things. But definitely never hurts for us to kind of walk through different methods with each other, and kind of work as a team here to figure out what's the best method for each one of us. So I hope you guys all have a great day, and I appreciate you sticking around for this terribly long video.